When a woman is weighed down by guilt, she won't confess it directly. Instead, she reveals it in small shifts you never expected. Her voice, her words, her attitude. Everything begins to change when guilt creeps in. And while you're busy enjoying her new sweetness or sudden generosity, you might miss the hidden truth screaming through her actions. That's why today I'm going to show you 10 clear signs that expose when she's battling guilt after being unfaithful. Pay close attention, because number 7 is the easiest one to spot, and almost every guilty woman does it. Before we dive in, take a quick moment to subscribe, hit the like button, and drop your city in the comments. I'd love to see how far this message reaches, and it's inspiring to see our community getting stronger every day. Now, let's start with the very first sign. A sudden rush of affection that feels sweet, but might actually be guilt in disguise. Number 1, she becomes overly affectionate. At first, it feels amazing. She hugs you tighter, plants random kisses, and sends "I love you" texts out of nowhere. You want to believe her heart is simply overflowing with love. But here's the truth most men overlook. When guilt sets in, people try to balance the scales. That flood of affection may not be from pure desire. It's guilt working overtime to cover cracks. Guilt throws people off balance. She knows she's crossed a line, so to quiet her conscience, she pours out affection, not from real passion, but as an attempt to convince you and herself that everything is fine. It's less about intimacy and more about damage control. The affection is deliberate, not spontaneous. Her silent message is, "See how much I love you. Don't ask questions about where I've been." Here's what you must understand. Real love is steady. It doesn't erupt overnight like a storm. If her affection suddenly skyrockets without a genuine reason, like making up after a fight, it's worth asking what's really fueling it. Is it deep connection, or is it guilt? As a man, you don't have to push her away, but you must pay attention to the patterns. If her sweetness feels out of character, don't just melt into it. Step back, observe, and remember, sudden affection after betrayal often isn't closeness. It's her conscience begging for forgiveness without words. Number 2, she starts buying you gifts for no reason. She surprises you with a new shirt, that gadget you mentioned once, or tickets to your favorite event. Suddenly, she's the most thoughtful woman alive. You think, wow, she really cares. But here's the reality. This is one of guilt's favorite disguises. Psychologists even have a term for it: guilt spending. When someone has done something wrong, the burden becomes too heavy. To ease it, they try to give back without confessing. A shiny gift is easier than admitting the truth. A surprise dinner is safer than facing what she's done. But these presents aren't really about you. They're her way of silencing her own conscience. The trap is simple. Men confuse generosity with love. You get caught up in the object and forget to ask the real question: why now? True love isn't proven by things. It's proven by steady effort, consistency, and genuine care. So, yes, accept the gift, but don't let it distract you. Look at the behavior behind it. If she's suddenly generous after weeks of being distant, it's not romance, it's restitution. And restitution means something is broken. Remember, no gift can erase betrayal. If her generosity comes from nowhere, it's not her love talking, it's her guilt buying silence. Number 3, she suddenly takes an unusual interest in your daily life. It starts with innocent questions like, how was work? What did you eat? What time did you get home? On the surface, it seems like she finally cares about the little details. You feel noticed for once. But here's the catch. When curiosity explodes overnight, it's usually not about closeness. It's about cover. Guilt makes people redirect focus. If she's suddenly full of questions, it's not because she's fascinated by your work lunch. It's because the more she gets you talking, the less you'll look at her. It's a smokescreen, fake closeness to hide her own tracks. Men often mistake this for affection. They feel special when their partner suddenly shows interest. But real care grows gradually. It's shown in remembering your struggles, supporting your dreams, and engaging in meaningful conversations. Sudden interrogation feels shallow and oddly timed. Here's the rule. When someone drowns you in questions out of nowhere, don't just answer, observe. Ask yourself, is she truly connecting or is she deflecting me? Real connection makes you feel understood. Fake connection makes you feel deflected. Don't confuse surveillance for love. If her sudden interest feels rehearsed, it's not intimacy. It's guilt hiding in plain sight. Number 4, she becomes defensive over simple questions. You ask something harmless like, "Where were you?" or "Who were you with?" and suddenly she's on edge. Her tone sharpens, her body stiffens, and instead of answering, she lashes out. You're left wondering why an innocent question feels like an attack. Here's the psychology. Guilt breeds paranoia. When someone's hiding something, even normal questions feel threatening. It's not your words that upset her, it's the truth she doesn't want exposed. Most men make the mistake of reacting emotionally. You argue back, explain yourself, or back off entirely. That's exactly what guilt-driven defensiveness thrives on. It trains you not to ask. Instead, you need awareness. A secure partner can answer calmly. A guilty partner reacts like she's being interrogated. Pay attention to body language. Nervous gestures, sharp tone, avoiding eye contact. These aren't signs of honesty. They're signs of panic. Your best move? Stay calm. Don't argue, don't chase answers, just observe. If every harmless question sparks a battle, you're not seeing healthy communication. You're seeing guilt exploding as anger. Number 5, she suddenly changes her routine. Out of nowhere, she's cooking your favorite meals, planning movie nights, or joining you in hobbies she never cared for before. At first, it feels like a dream. She's finally putting effort into the relationship. But before you get too comfortable, ask yourself, why now? Behavior doesn't shift like that without cause. When guilt is involved, change is often a tactic. She's rebuilding your trust before you even realize it's been broken. These gestures aren't about growth, they're about damage control. Many men misread this as maturity, but genuine growth happens slowly, step by step. If her habits flip overnight, it's less about love and more about covering suspicion. She's not bonding, she's distracting. Here's your task. Don't reject the new gestures, but interpret them correctly. Ask yourself, does this feel consistent and natural or staged and sudden? True love doesn't need theater. Routines tell the truth, and when they suddenly change without reason, it's often a smokescreen for guilt. Number 6, she suddenly gives you more freedom than before. The woman who once checked where you were going now encourages you to go out, saying, "I trust you." At first, it feels refreshing. No jealousy, no control, just freedom. But when freedom arrives suddenly, it often comes with a shadow. This shift is usually projection. She knows she's broken a boundary, and in her mind, letting you have the same freedom somehow makes things fair. It's not about genuine trust. It's her conscience trying to balance the scales. Men often mistake this for maturity, but real trust builds slowly, through consistency. Sudden trust, especially replacing years of possessiveness, isn't a gift, it's a warning. Enjoy the freedom, but stay aware. Ask yourself why this change appeared now. If it's not connected to an honest conversation, it's likely tied to guilt. True freedom and love comes from respect, not from evening the score. Number 7, she flips her behavior with her phone. At first, she guards it with her life. It's locked, face down, never leaving her hand. Any notification makes her jump. Then suddenly, the script flips. Now the phone is left out, unlocked, and even offered to you casually. On the surface, it looks like trust. In reality, it's often just another guilt strategy. Right after betrayal, paranoia makes her hide everything. But eventually, she realizes secrecy raises suspicion, so she stages the opposite, fake openness. She leaves her phone visible, creating an illusion of honesty, all while having already erased the evidence. Most men fall for this trick. They think,
If she were hiding something, she wouldn't leave it lying around. But understand this, when she casually leaves her phone, it's usually because there's nothing left on it to find. Your move? Pay attention to timing. Did she suddenly switch from ultra protective to overly relaxed? That's not real transparency, it's performance. Remember, when someone goes out of their way to look trustworthy, it's usually because they're desperate for you not to dig deeper. Number 8, she begins overpraising you. All of a sudden, you're the best man alive, the strongest, kindest, most amazing partner in the world. Every conversation becomes a flood of compliments. It feels good, almost intoxicating, but don't get lost in the flattery.
This is often overcompensation. Deep down, she knows her actions don't match her words. To silence the conflict in her mind, she drowns you in praise. The more she says you're perfect, the easier it is for her to ignore her betrayal. Men get trapped here easily. We love praise. But guilt uses flattery as a weapon. If she keeps you glowing in her words, you're less likely to notice her actions. The key is not to reject the compliments, but to measure them. Are they consistent with her usual behavior, or are they suddenly over the top? Real respect shows in action, not exaggerated words. When admiration feels like a performance, it usually is. Number 9, she shows bursts of sadness or anxiety. You notice her staring into space, crying randomly, or snapping under small pressure. She blames it on stress, hormones, or being tired. But the timing feels off. The emotions don't fit the circumstances. What you're seeing might not be random moods, it could be guilt weighing her down. Guilt doesn't stay hidden, it leaks into emotions. Carrying a secret creates inner conflict, and that conflict spills out as sudden sadness or irritability. Most men rush to fix it, comforting her, trying to cheer her up. But when guilt is the root, your comfort can't solve it. It only gives her temporary relief, while the truth keeps eating at her. The smarter move? Step back and notice patterns. Do these breakdowns happen more after suspicious changes? Do they erupt without reason? Real stress has clear triggers. Guilt-driven emotions don't. If her sadness feels misplaced and exaggerated, it's likely her conscience cracking under pressure. Number 10, she talks about cheating indirectly. You're watching a show together and suddenly she says, "I could never believe someone would cheat on their partner." Or she brings up a friend's betrayal, shaking her head in disgust. On the surface, it looks like condemnation, but often it's a disguised confession. Guilt looks for an outlet. Carrying a secret is unbearable, so people bring it up indirectly. By criticizing someone else's betrayal, she distances herself from her own while secretly admitting it. It's a way of confessing without consequences. Many men dismiss these comments, thinking, "At least she hates cheating." But the louder she condemns it in others, the more likely she's trying to drown out her own voice of guilt. Don't brush these off. When cheating keeps coming up out of nowhere, it's not coincidence. It's guilt leaking through. Don't confront immediately. Observe. Connect her words to her actions. If these comments align with other suspicious shifts, you're not hearing random talk. You're hearing guilt speaking in code. Remember this. Indirect confessions are still confessions. Ignore them, and you might miss the clearest sign her conscience will ever give. When you look at all these signs together, a bigger picture forms. One random gift doesn't mean betrayal. One wave of affection doesn't equal guilt. But when all these behaviors stack up, extra affection, sudden gifts, endless questions, defensiveness, changed routines, unexpected freedom, flipped phone habits, exaggerated praise, strange emotional bursts, and talk of cheating, then it's not coincidence. It's a story her behavior is telling, even if her mouth stays shut. Here's the truth most men don't want to face. Guilt always changes behavior. It bleeds into everything. You don't need a confession to know something's wrong. You just need to pay attention, connect the dots, and trust your gut. But this isn't about becoming paranoid or living in suspicion. It's about regaining awareness. Too many men ignore red flags because they want comfort. They accept the gifts, soak in the affection, and bask in the flattery, while missing the bigger truth. Don't let comfort blind you. If multiple signs show up together, take it seriously. Don't rush to accuse, but don't dismiss them either. Stay observant. That's your greatest power. When you see clearly, you're no longer easy to manipulate. You're no longer at the mercy of guilt-driven performances. And here's the empowering part. Whether betrayal has already happened or not, these are moments to set your standards. They're a chance to demand truth, consistency, and respect. A reminder that you deserve honesty, not distractions, not performances, not guilt-driven acts. So, if you want to stay sharp, protect your peace, and avoid being blindsided by emotional games, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share it with other men who need the wake-up call. Drop in the comments which sign you've noticed in your own life. Your story might help another man open his eyes. Every week, I'll bring you more insights to help you cut through illusions, take back your power, and lead your relationships on your terms.